I'm trying to think of how we'll navigate spoilers. We will say spoiler before like everything.
Yes.
But this first part will not have any spoilers.
Perfect.
So anyway, I'm so excited for you all to be here. Thank you all for
Hi,
joining
Janessa.
me. This is great. This is great.
I know
Okay.
I can see comments. That's so fun. Hi, everybody.
Yeah, this is much better. I
Yeah,
think
this
we'll
is
probably
great.
switch to this format anyway, because I feel like every month I have issues with Discord,
Yeah.
and I want everybody to be able to hear about the Washwoman at River's End because it is
Thank
so
you.
good. Um, I can't wait for my physical copy. I finished last night. Oh, I didn't tell you. You probably saw the timestamps.
It was late.
Um, it was so I intended to go to bed at 12:20 when I finished chapter 76. That was the chapter that you told me I had to read up until,
Yes.
and I was like,
And
okay,
was I
so
right?
you were right, except here's the problem. I finished it at 12:20. I like brushed my teeth. I got on my jammies. I got comfy cozy in bed, and then I couldn't sleep.
Sorry. I'm not
And
sorry.
then I had to stay up and finish it. So I actually went to bed at like 2:30 a.m.
That's such a good feeling, though.
It was really, really good.
Thank you.
I mean, there's definitely like a hinge point in the story
Yeah.
where like the story becomes something different.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved both both halves, if you will. Um,
I
I
will.
don't want to spoil too much, but let's go ahead and talk about what inspired the book, um, the folklore, and just do a little bit of a recap from what we were
Yeah.
discussing in
Yes.
Discord.
I love Outlander. I love
Yes.
Outlander. And after, so I finished my trilogy, I wrote a contemporary, and then I just really wanted to write something Scottish. Outlander was finishing this year. I want to visit there so badly. And I just started researching Scottish folklore. I was just looking for the right story. And I kind of read through all of these different things. And then as soon as I read about the Bania, I was like, yep, this is it. This is it. And there's more folklore coming. I don't want to spoil it, but
I do. Okay, so we will get to that because I read that glossary and we haven't met everybody yet.
no, we have not.
And I'm very excited about it.
Yeah.
So, okay, I got my list of questions. Um, do you want to talk a little bit about the actual like research you went into, and maybe some of, because even the way that Brennan speaks is very
Hmm.
clearly heavily
Hmm.
researched. So, can you talk a little bit about dialect and research and how you went about all that
Hmm.
jazz?
Yeah. So the language, I even have like a note in the front matter about language and how it plays such an important role in this story. Um, and so not only did I do all the research that I could to do the best that I could individually, I then hired a Gallic speaker to essentially fix all the crap I messed up. Yep.
Sure.
Because that was just Google, and Google is
Yeah.
not ever right.
Sure.
And then I reached out, I like cold DM'd several Scots to ask them to read it before it ever met other people's eyes.
Uh-huh.
Um, so Brennan has like that Scots dialect.
Yes.
And then you will notice other like current people living their normal timelines have the Scots dialect.
Yes.
But Bia does not, the Cutter does not. Mortals who have lived these really long, extended lives. And so I wanted to kind of show both of their disconnects
Yeah.
from the rest of the kingdom of they've been living for 100 plus years,
Yeah.
and their kind of so they obviously still have a Scottish accent,
Yeah,
You can say didn't in a, I won't even try to do it, but you
yeah.
can say didn't in a Scottish way or didn't they? Um, but that dialect that's typical of the kingdom kind of faded away. And so while they still have the Scottish accent, they no longer are part of the rest of the kingdom. Um, and the Scots that I talked to unanimously
Mhm.
said, had you had Bia speak in Scots language as well, I wouldn't have finished it.
Oh,
Uh,
interesting.
I know, I thought so too. Because I even asked them, I said, I don't want it to seem weird that Bia is not speaking Scots. And they said, we don't all speak Scots. It's very typical of the Highlands, but Scotland's very large and different areas have different dialects. Not everyone would speak that way.
Yeah,
And I really was intentional about not making the Scots dialect make it seem like it was this book was like a caricature of Scotland. I want
sure.
it to feel like Scotland and I wanted to be respectful of their culture.
Yeah,
Which is why I had sensitivity readers, right?
yeah, yeah,
Um, so all of those things were very intentional. And I really like how it turns out because it doesn't just show the difference between, I guess, like how long they've been alive, but just the difference between Bia and Brennan becomes
yeah,
even more visible in just the way they speak.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Um, we talked about it a little bit in the like pre-interview, but for those who are unfamiliar with the premise of the story,
Oh,
um,
yes.
the main character is literally chained to one physical location. She's how long is her chain? It must be pretty long if she can go to the other side of the
It's
river.
it's two dragons lengths, which in
How
my
big is the
mind is about
dragon?
40 feet.
Okay, okay. So, okay. And I mean, if she can swim across the river too, like,
I
yes,
also will say,
river,
I couldn't tell you how long a school bus is. So my interpretation of feet means nothing.
you know, I kind of like that because I just nod my head when I'm reading
Yeah,
it anyway.
a dragon's length.
Mhm.
Excellent. Hmm.
Yep. Um, but the river absolutely sort of has a personality of its
Hmm.
own. And so, anyway, so the main character is chained beside a river. And not the entirety of the story, but the entirety of her,
The majority of it.
the majority, I would say
Hmm.
90%
Hmm.
is literally just right there.
Hmm.
And she has so few belongings. When we first meet her, what does she have? She has like a moss, just whatever moss she can gather within her little
Hmm.
thing.
For her
She
bed,
has a moss bed, no
a
blanket,
stone pillow.
stone pillow.
Hmm. A scrap of tartan. I think she has like part of a beeswax candle, a little piece of soap, and then like a bone needle and some thread.
Yes. And that's it.
Yeah.
Somehow, Megan has written a book that is wildly engaging and like over 500 pages long. I was reading it and I was like, I was like, how long is this book? Because
I
like I
know
thought
she's
that we were
thick.
I thought that we were approaching the end and then like
Oh.
there would be some sort of like thing to happen. It didn't feel long. Um it felt like every time I thought I had the story figured out, what the story was about, you would
Yeah.
like ask another question. You would answer that question, but then you would ask another one.
Another question.
And it just I could definitely see how it felt kind of outlanderish because I could see it being like a multi-season series type deal.
Yeah. My brain hurt writing it
Okay, how long
a
did it
lot.
take you?
I started writing this book before I wrote poetry. Well, you can't say it, but Poetry by
Really?
Dead Men. I started it. And I think I had just come off of finishing a fantasy trilogy.
Yeah.
And I started it and I had the idea. And I think that my brain, again, and also I was postpartum from triplets.
Yeah.
I don't think that my brain was capable of writing this story at
Mm-hmm.
that time. So I
Sure.
basically put down like what I wanted from it. And then I moved on to a contemporary romance,
Uh-huh.
which was challenging, but not in the fantasies. You create a whole world. It's just a different apples and oranges.
Yes.
Um, and so then I finished that, and then I was really itching to get back into it. So, I mean, 2 years I've been
You should tell
marinating.
what you told me about your writing process.
Uh,
You mentioned a very unique way of drafting.
yes, I dictate my entire first draft, just like what I'm doing now. And it started with the second book in my trilogy when the triplets were in the NICU because I was driving back and forth multiple times a day because I had a 4-year old at home. So I wanted to be there for her. I wanted to be there for them. It was
Yeah.
a lot to navigate, but I was driving 45 minutes both ways, 2 to 3 times a day. Um, and I always tell
Wow.
people that my brain is a very, very anxious place. And so I can lay in bed at night or be driving or what literally any scenario and be like, okay, if I swerve off a bridge, how and in what order am I going to get my kids out and get them all safe? Like I spiral. Or I can stop myself and I can pop my earbud in and I can go to a fantasy world that
Yeah.
exists in my mind and
Yeah.
I can speak out loud the movie that's playing out in my head. So I literally, if I'm doing dishes, if I'm doing laundry, um, driving, if my oldest is not in the car with me because she can understand what I'm saying. My 3-year-olds don't really understand what I'm saying. Um, I put it in and I kind of just like go somewhere else in my brain and I think of like those movies that make you just like feel it
Yeah.
and how they make me feel it,
Yeah.
and I try to write it out that way. I try to speak it out loud. What are
Yeah.
the scene playing out in my mind? But
Yeah.
also it has its challenges. Like every time I say ice cream dictates ice cream. And every time I dictate I lean against the bar, it's Eileen name.
I like the name.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Every and none of the Gallic names. I'm like Kalliuk, and it's like Kylie, Kaylee, Kelly.
Um,
So I
I
heavily edit.
I had so my like hack for when I need to read a book that I only have in an ebook format,
Hmm.
but I'm driving, I'm doing dishes, whatever. My hack is that I like have the accessibility functions
Hmm.
read it to me.
Yes.
Um, and Siri does not speak Gaelic.
Mm-mm. No,
She
I
was
would not think.
struggling. She
Yeah.
was struggling, and I was like, but
Kalliak.
yeah, I really
Mm.
just, I mean, yeah, but it was completely fine because I like it's a fantasy book, so I'm able to sort of
Yes.
be like, yeah,
Yeah.
sounds great, Siri.
Perfect.
That's the
Sounds
name,
great.
totally, man. Um, okay, so sorry, I got distracted. We were talking about how B is chained to the river.
Yeah, she is. It's real sad.
Can, can you talk a little bit about the challenges of writing in one place? How do you come up with new content? How do you move a story along?
It, this has been easily the biggest creative challenge of my entire life.
Mm,
Um, because, and it's multi layered. This is not the fastest paced book. People who are looking for like constant action, this is not, don't go into this when that's your mood.
I'm specifically drawn to books that are emotional and have a lot of character development and getting to be in both Bea and Brennan's head was a huge benefit
Mm-hmm.
to me as a reader. Um, out of curiosity, like, might we be having some other POVs in the next book?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So,
Will the main characters remain Brennan and
yes.
Bea? Okay.
Yes. Yes. So when I initially had this plan, it was three interconnected fantasy standalones with a fourth of them all together. And then I wrote this book and I was like, I don't like that anymore. So book two is going to have hints of Garrick, but
Okay.
it's going to be Theo and his love interest story,
Yes.
and then also Bea and Brennan like fighting their way through the after to get to Theo and his love interest. So kind
Uh-huh.
of like a Throne of Glass vibe where you just kind of
Yeah.
keep getting new
Yeah.
characters and then they get their POVs, but the others continue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're just doing classic high fantasy multi
I know.
storyline woven
Just
together.
making it real hard on myself.
No pun intended with weaving.
Weaving.
Hmm. Okay, so I have spoiler questions. Um, and I'm nervous about losing people in the chat. So before I get into spoilers, if anybody has a question for Megan that you want to ask before you dip out to avoid spoilers,
Yeah.
the
You don't
comment.
want spoilers on this book.
You really don't. You really don't. Okay. Well, so far I just see we're so here for all of it. So let's
I
talk.
see a lot of my street team in here.
Beautiful. Okay, perfect.
Love them.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. Okay, cool.
Yes.
So, spoilers for The Washwoman at River's End now. Um, okay, so who Theo saw at the end? That's the Weaver, right? She's
Yes.
weaving the
The
person who's
future weaver.
yes, the one
Yeah.
that she's
The
been looking for.
ascending weaver.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Ascending Weaver. Have we
Mm-hmm.
met the ascending? Okay.
No, a lot of people in my ARC team Discord think it's Kenna. It is not Kenna.
Okay.
Kenna is in the next story,
Uh-huh.
but we have met her, but not really. She's the one from Bia's dreams.
Yes. Yes,
The
yes, yes.
woman at the loom, the woman who gets
Yep.
um and then Theo sees her, he says, "It's you." I,
Huh?
so, mhm.
Uh-huh, uh-huh,
Mhm.
uh-huh.
Mhm. Mhm.
And she's hanging out with the fairies.
Yeah, the fair folk.
Oh my God. I like
Yeah.
going
And
from
they're going to
such a
be team Theo.
they're going to be Team Theo. What does that
Mhm.
mean? What does that
I can give
mean?
light. They're not really spoilers, but I never intended this to be like how I like the hook of it. But the
Sure.
best way I can describe book two is it's a Rapunzel retelling. So the ascending
Okay.
weaver, has
Yeah.
been isolated in
Yes.
her fairy pool cabin
Yes.
because of someone trying to protect her and telling her about the world and what can happen and things.
Yep.
And so it's basically just her and her little fair folk. And then Theo gets there to protect her. And her
And
name
then
is
they
Maddie. I will tell you that because it's not a spoiler. Her name is Maddie.
uh-huh.
Maidie. It's another Scottish folklore thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she is going to be very afraid that there is another adult human man at her door, even though he's trying to help her and save her.
I'm a little bit bummed that we're on Instagram live on my phone because I had annotations that I wanted to ask you about.
I want to know.
I'll just message you
Okay.
afterwards. But oh my God, there was this one line and it was like only a man would have capacity for such violence or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. And I was like,
I mean, yeah,
correct.
truly. Yeah, it's when she's talking about animals. She hopes it's an animal, but she knows it's not. because only men are capable of such. Yeah, I can't remember the exact quote, but it's like something like she can feel it, right? Only men are capable of such hatred and violence.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so interesting. The story is very layered with,
Mhm.
we're talking about themes of grief, we're talking about themes of like patriarchy, we're talking about themes of, you know, I guess I wouldn't say religion, but I mean like the way that those in power can be
I would
deceiving.
almost not say religion, but like
Yeah.
not to get into politics because I don't speak
Yeah.
politics publicly, but like politics in that people listen to what they're told.
Yeah. Yeah.
And regardless of sides, each side listens to what they're told.
Yeah.
And um that's when things get scary,
Yeah.
when there's not like critical thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Who is in control of the information?
Yes,
Who
exactly.
is in
The one
control
who
of the
controls the
story?
information is the one who controls the outcome until people are brave enough to,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, it's so good. Okay, so earlier I kind of like referenced the glossary.
Hmm.
Um, are we perhaps we meet other gods? Like,
Yeah,
are we
perhaps.
have we moved from the story takes place sort of like at the mortal level, and are we now having like god level story?
Kind of. So I have my map, right?
Yes.
And my artist, I will butcher it. Pandalay's art, she's
Yes.
phenomenal.
Yes.
She did the Washwoman illustration on my cover.
Yep.
And then she also did my map. And when I so I sent her this like horrific sketch out of what I pictured, but it's kind of like a clover, like hinting at like
Okay.
Celtic, and then the
Uh-huh.
three domains,
Uh-huh.
and all the things. And she made it beautiful. But then, so in my mind, we have the clover. We turn it. We go down to the after. It's another clover.
Okay.
Hmm. Um, I know. This is why my brain hurts. Um, and so there's peace and there's suffering in my clover.
Uh-huh.
And then
Uh-huh.
there's the beyond where you can get back to the mortal world. And that is where Bia and Brennan are going to have to
Their trials.
go through the trials of the three. So Brennan, Theo, and Garrick both have set trials to prevent people from going back above.
Okay.
Um, and unless they are worthy of going back above. Um,
Gotcha.
what was the question? Oh my gosh, my mind just went like,
I was just asking, like, are we meeting other gods? Like,
yes. Okay.
where are we at in
So
the
in the
realm?
trials,
So I've gathered
so
that like we're
yes,
having we're having like one plot line
yes,
swapping Brennan and Beat like
below, one
below.
above, and then hints of Garrick. Um, so if you remember, spoiler, 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 um, they all put other gods in charge of their like posts.
Yes.
So we're gonna meet the other gods as Bia and Brennan travel through below.
Gotcha.
And then Myra, I can't remember exactly how you say it, the goddess of love and chaos or madness.
Madness, which
Um,
so love her. She's
yes,
scary, but I love her.
I love her too. Yeah, she's gonna show up several more times. I have decided.
Okay, great.
Because we all need a little chaos. We all need a little madness.
Yeah. Do you
What
have anything?
truly one of my favorite lines in it, and it's my favorite line, but I can't remember the exact word. I Every single sentence of this book has been written and rewritten 10 times. I'm really not
You can't
exaggerating.
quote your book exactly. It's
No,
fine.
I can't. But her like when she says like we're all a little mad, my dear, or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love her because
Yeah.
it's how true is that? So she's going to be involved. We're going to get more of the goddesses of the three.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I can't wait. Um, okay. Do we have a general idea for book two release? You haven't even released book one.
I
Are
know.
we
My goal is less than a year.
okay? Okay. Okay.
My goal.
Yeah. Yeah. I can wait that long for sure.
Yeah. I would love I this is a reach. But
Uh-huh.
book one happens. I love when books the release coincides with like the seasons.
Sure.
So this is coming out in the fall, which is kind of when Washwoman starts. It's Samhain,
Mm-hmm.
Samhain, um, October, um, and then it's several months. Um, I would love a spring release. I don't know that that's possible
Yeah.
because
That's
I do think that to make sure that I do this series justice, I'm going to need to at least plot out book three. And I'm not a plotter, I'm a pantser. So
yeah.
I know the major points of all the books. Like I
Yes.
have
Of
the
course.
overarching
Yeah.
theme,
Yeah.
um, but things reveal themselves to me as I write that I did not intend.
Yeah.
So I would love like a late spring release, but I would say conservatively, I'm really hopeful that within a year we'll have another
That's
one.
amazing. I
Mhm.
mean, I did not expect that, but I'm very
My
happy.
brain never stops, Rachel.
Well, I'm gathering.
Good or
It is
bad?
it is of great benefit to me personally.
Well, that's yeah.
We've all got like our superpowers and like our things that we can just do that no one else can. I cannot imagine writing a 500 plus page book in a year. But do you think this one will be shorter? No.
I really want this to be a trilogy. Like when I wrote Wildflower, my first series, I promised myself and my readers that I would never write more than a trilogy. And
Hmm.
I'm a little bit afraid this one's going to have to be four to do the story justice. And I
We're
know,
fine. We're
I
gonna
know.
we're gonna be fine.
I am going to do what the story needs,
Yeah.
but they're all going to be thick books
Yeah.
because we're getting into multiple POVs then too, like more than just the two. And
Yeah.
I am not willing to sacrifice plot and storyline for like page number,
Yeah. Yeah.
even if, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Now these aren't like shallow books.
Mm-mm.
We're
No.
tackling a lot of really
Yeah.
intense things.
Death and
Um,
sorrow and
yeah,
grief. And they're
yeah,
not happy books.
yeah. No. Okay, so speaking of tone,
Mm,
someone just said, now I really want to read your other books. You told me something
mm,
that was very
I did.
interesting. Okay, so if you read The Washwoman at River's End and loved it, you've got two different kinds of
I have
paths for
very
people.
different paths. Should I?
Yes.
I'll grab them. Okay, I do. I have two very different paths. I have written a contemporary romance, which I also did with the Nerd Fans. But I have also written another complete romantasy trilogy. So
Yeah.
they are so, my romantasies are so incredibly different. I cannot even express it to you. Not to say if you like one, you won't like the other. But
Oh, I
if
mean,
you,
yes, I
yes,
most of us are like
yes,
really diverse readers.
yes.
Yeah.
But you need to go into this with the right mindset. This is a vibes read. I wrote this book because I had always wanted to write a book and I'd always been in like creative writing classes and journalism and whatever. And I was a songwriting major in college. Um, but I wanted to put every trope that I loved in one book. This was my goal, was to write the tropiest, vibiest book when you just need it to hit.
Yeah.
That's the goal of this book.
Okay. Amazing.
And that series. And to say too, oh, poetry is one of my all-time favorite. I love it. So Also, Bia is a very mature, she's 106 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's very mature. She's been around the block. She's very
Like
well
tortured a couple
developed.
times.
Yes. Couple. Um, in A Wildflower in the Wind, she's 23 and she's a dumbass in the first book. And a lot of people, it really pisses them off. And that's valid. That's fair. It was intentional because she's never left this little mountain town. She is. She's dumb. She's stupid. She's naive. The character growth in her over this series was the goal, and it's there. But don't expect a Bia going into A Wildflower in the Wind. Expect a Bia, which is what's funny. Her name is Leah, the main character. You can get there in book 2 and 3, but book 1, she's probably gonna piss you off, and you just gotta like sit with it and like let that piss you off and understand that she's just young and stupid. I was so stupid when I was 23. Um, if you loved Washwoman and want like similar in a contemporary, this book I am so incredibly proud of. I just I describe it to people. If you loved Every Summer After, if you loved the idea of It Ends With Us,
Mm,
it has similar themes of It Ends With Us, like domestic violence and things like that. It is a more emotional book.
yeah.
Um, and I'm really proud of it. So I would say if you love Washwoman, this is my book that's going to be closest to those vibes. If you love Washwoman, but also just love vibes reads, then you can go for
You
Wildflower
said,
and it's
would you
there.
say that that Washwoman and Poetry for Dead Men are like heart wrenching reads, and then
Hmm.
maybe your other romantasy series is like a giggly, kicking your feet kind of read?
A little bit. Um, I think it's more just like, when you read Zodiac Academy and you're like,
Yeah,
this
that's what I would
crack.
consider. I would consider it
Yes.
kicking your feet,
Yeah. I
even
mean,
though
it still has like
it
some
still has
sad
horrible
things.
stuff,
Yes, exactly. Yes.
but like it
But you
doesn't take
don't
itself super seriously.
know. And you don't have to think super hard and there's not a ton of theories that you need to have. Like you read that when you're in a book slump and you just need something that's going to give you the tropes that you love.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I love those books when I need those books. It just depends on
yeah,
what mood I'm in at the
yeah,
time of reading, you know?
yeah.
Like I read that, I devoured that whole series, Zodiac Academy and Ruthless Boys and Darkmoor Penitentiary. But like, would I want that every day of the year? No.
Yeah, fair
Like I
enough.
want some other stuff mixed in. You know what I mean?
That reminds me, next week, people should keep an eye out on the Nerd Fam social media if you like Ruthless Boys of the Zodiac.
Wait, I want to know. Will you tell me later?
Of course, yeah, of course. Um, it's not
I
a.
loved Ruthless Boys. I think I liked that more than Zodiac Academy.
I mean, I don't think it's a spoiler or anything like that. They've already announced it. It's just that we're doing a campaign for their new covers of book one.
I
So
thought
the
this
new
was maybe
covers,
like the thing where you have all of the authors that you're just like showing their names and no one knows what you're talking about.
that'll be soon.
I'd like to know.
It'll be soon. It'll be soon. Um, yeah, I
I'm
can't.
excited, whatever it is.
It'll be great. It'll be great. Um, okay, I want to talk about where people should order Washwoman. So obviously, like the whole book club got the ebook,
Hmm.
but if they want to order a physical edition from, like you said, that there were some indie stores that are doing
Hmm.
pre-order campaigns. Can you tell us
Yes.
a little bit about those?
Slow Burn, Tennessee.
Okay.
They are doing one. I should make, I will, I'll make like a post on Instagram to like tag
Okay.
them.
Cool.
There's several different, um, little uh they're great, they're not little, but they're indie bookstores that are doing, they're not like Barnes and Noble,
Yeah.
that are doing pre-order campaigns, and I'm so grateful for them, and I've sent them all nameplates.
It says Flight of Fantasy still has some.
Okay, yes.
Is that a
um
one of the
yep,
stores?
yep, that's one of them, Flight of Fantasy. um there's a couple, but you can also order from any indie bookstore. Call them, ask them and they can order it.
Yeah.
And also tell them, because anyone who's messaged me, um, me sending book plates to an indie bookstore cost me like $1.
Oh,
So
amazing.
it's literally $1. So any bookstore that has messaged me, I'm like, can I send you book plates? Um,
Yeah.
because I would so much rather people, I mean, I love you no matter how you order my book. But I would love to support more indie bookstores. And you can't get a signed book plate through Amazon, but you can through an indie bookstore. And if they message me, I will send them a pack of 10, 20, whatever they want. Um, and you can have a signed copy of it. You can get the ebook on Amazon today.
Physical copy too.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes.
Hmm.
The ebook is currently discounted for like a pre-release price. And today, if you order from Amazon, indie bookstores, anyone, I'm donating all of the proceeds to Dolly's Imagination Library. Um, so like if you're going to pre-order, today's the day. If you have an extra $4.99 and you already read the ebook but want like the copy that doesn't have Arc Reader on the front and you want the money to go to Dolly and her library, go order the ebook.
Yeah.
It's all going to that. Um, yeah, shop small, shop local. If you're
Yeah.
gonna, I am going to be, I think, on Kindle Unlimited. So my ebook will be exclusive to Amazon. So
Yeah.
um, today, if you want to support Dolly, go order it there. But anywhere you want, any bookstore, they can order it. I will send them signed book plates.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank
Is
you.
there anything, I'm trying to think of, is there anything that I haven't asked you that you want to talk about with the book? Otherwise, I'll end. I have an idea of a question. Someone
Ooh,
did ask if you're doing a tour.
I don't think so. I don't think I have any other question or anything I want to talk about. I mean, I would love to thank everyone who's reading and
Yeah.
reviewing. And the love that I've been getting has been phenomenal. And I feel really so when you're an author, you get told to trust the reader often is something that you get from like professionals.
Yeah.
And that is really hard to do because I want to make sure everyone understands and knows what I was going for and what my intention was, and that like these things that you might think of is a mistake is a very intentional choice. Um, but people have proved to me with this release that I can trust the reader and that I can give my little Easter eggs and not spell every last thing out. And I have been like very emotional over the fact that people are really seeing what my intention was and getting what I was trying to do. Um, and so I'm glad I trusted the readers. And I'm just so grateful for everyone who has read this book and given it their time. So thank you.
Uh, I will end with one last question then, and
Okay.
it is, um, speaking of trusting your readers, what is one thing that you hope every reader leaves the book with?
So this is a heavy topic and not something that I have dealt with, um, but something that was very in the front of my mind as I was writing is this idea that like your life is so hard, awful, not what you wanted, whatever it may be, that like trying to get out of it is the best way forward. Um, and my hope when writing it was that people would see that you can find strength in suffering and not that you have to, but that like there is a purpose for you, right? Bia has this purpose that is beyond her wildest imaginings. Um, and to say that, like, I don't want to minimize anyone's suffering whatsoever, but like, I hoped that people would find hope and peace in that there is a plan after whatever suffering you're going through. You have the ability to change so much, to do so much, to change fate, no matter how horrific and horrible and unjust and unfair the things that you're going through are. And um and that was a challenge. I didn't want people to feel unseen if they were struggling with those things, but I also, like, life is better, the world is better with everyone here. The world is better with you here. And I was hoping that people would find hope in that,
Yeah.
as heavy
Yeah.
as that is. Yeah. Not to end on like a really
No,
heavy note,
I don't think
but
it's incredibly heavy. I think this kind of reminds me of like something that I always tell like my my new parent friends if they're like
mhm,
in newborn hell, like it's
mhm,
great, but also like sleep deprivation.
mhm.
Or like myself, if I'm having like a depressive episode and it's just, even though it seems like it's going to last forever, like there will
Yes.
come a time, there will be an after.
Yes. My
Um,
dad always, my entire life, anytime I've been struggling, my family's been struggling, my sister, my brother, always, this too shall pass. I
yep,
want to get it tattooed on my arm because it does. Everything passes. It might
yep,
take 106 fucking years, but this too shall pass.
yeah,
And I also just wanted people to feel seen in their struggles,
yeah,
and and see that struggle can give you strength. And it's very complicated, right?
yeah,
And you want everyone to feel seen and understood, but um that is it's a core theme of this book, of
yeah,
her wanting to
yep. Keep going.
be
Just keep
done.
swimming.
Yeah,
Yep,
she just wants to be done.
yep.
um and she chooses something bigger than that, and I
Mhm.
can promise you that her story is going to have a very happy ending, and she's going to be glad at the end of it that she lived through everything to get to where she ends up.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.